Imagine waking up to the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee. It's an experience that's as common today in Tokyo as it is in Tunis. But how did this simple beverage become such a global phenomenon? To truly understand, you must journey back centuries before your morning routine was shaped by its taste. In 15th century Ethiopia, coffee wasn't just a drink, it was a revelation. The story goes that a goatherd named Kaldi first noticed his flock's unusual energy after chewing on the red berries of what we now call the coffee plant. This accidental discovery eventually made its way to Yemen, and then across the Red Sea into what is today Saudi Arabia, where scholars like Abd al-Qadir al-Jaziri documented the beverage's effects in their writings. As the Ottoman Empire expanded during this period, it brought with it a newfound love for coffee houses, places of intellectual exchange. By the 17th century, these establishments had spread to Europe, transforming from simple cafes into bustling centers where politics, business, and art were discussed over steaming cups. Think about this. Every time you sip your morning coffee, you're partaking in a ritual that once defined cultural revolutions. But how did something so rooted in the East become indispensable everywhere? The answer lies in trade routes and colonial ambitions. European powers, particularly the Dutch and British, saw the commercial potential of coffee beans and began cultivating them in their colonies. This marked the beginning of an era where coffee wasn't just a drink, but a commodity traded on global markets. Now, imagine you're living in the 18th century. The Americas were starting to establish themselves as significant players in this lucrative trade when they weren't simply exporters of raw materials. Researchers like Sidney W. Mintz, who wrote extensively about sugar and coffee in colonial economies, would argue that these beverages played pivotal roles in shaping economic relationships and power dynamics. By the mid-19th century, the Industrial Revolution changed everything once again. Advances in transportation made it possible to ship beans faster and cheaper, while innovations like instant coffee allowed for mass consumption on a scale previously unimaginable. How did this transformation affect your great-great-grandparents' daily lives? As the 20th century dawned, coffee had become more than just an everyday habit. It was intertwined with social and political movements. Activists from the civil rights era to today's climate change advocates use coffee shops as meeting places where ideas can ferment before being shared on a global scale. Each cup you drink now is part of this ongoing tradition. So how do we explain your current morning routine, where every country seems to have its own take on what coffee means? From the Italian espresso served in small cups to the Vietnamese iced coffee with condensed milk, each culture has personalized the bean into something uniquely their own. This diversity is a testament not only to coffee's versatility, but also to humanity's capacity for reinvention. And yet, as you sit today with your cup of choice, remember that this beloved beverage came from humble beginnings in Ethiopia and transformed into an industry worth billions worldwide. Coffee conquered the world by first conquering hearts one sip at a time. Imagine waking up tomorrow to find coffee no longer part of your daily routine. How would that feel? That's how integral coffee has become to our lives, mirroring its journey from discovery to ubiquity in just a few centuries.